Honorable Governor Morobe.
Grievance debate. At the first instance, I want to fully concur with the point raised by the Honorable Governor for Oro Province, that the punishment that was given to this foreigner who have committed a serious offense in this country, very serious, in the sense that the drug that was possessed by him and consumed by him or distributed by him, and the ramification to the extent that when people consume it or have distribution, is likely to endanger the lives of Papua New Guinean citizens. It's a serious matter, Mr. Speaker, and I fully concur with the speech by Governor for Oro. And Governor for Oro, I want to help you and recommend to the Attorney General of this country to speak to the public prosecutor that he exercises his power under the Public Prosecutors Act or the Constitution to appeal against the sentence. This country is not a country where you can play around. And I want to strongly recommend that his sentence should be appealed. It should be appealed because it's just too lenient. This country is an independent country. This is not a colony of Australia or colony of some European countries. This is a country. We got independence in 1975. It's an independent country. We can't allow the foreigners to come in here and play games with our lives, play games with our laws. No, in the whole wide world. Because you don't enjoy that in their country. Surely not. And I want to recommend to the Attorney General, take a tougher measure. If the law, the penalty is very lenient, consequence of which was he was discharged, then recommend that the higher penalty should be enacted by this parliament. This parliament's got all the powers in the world to recommend for the enactment of tough punishments. Mr. Speaker, so I fully concur with him. And I want to add on, Mr. Speaker, in relation to the questions that I raised before you for your understanding, so you can help in the formulation of the constitutional question to the Constitutional Court, the Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what we're facing in the provincial government, I don't know other provincial government, but I see my friend in the Wenge province is fully concerned with what we're trying to do here and to achieve here. Section 10 of the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government provides the constitution of the Assembly. That is, that who's supposed to be in the Assembly is specified under Section 10. Unfortunately, that Section 10 was amended. Section 10 was amended to take away the Council of Presidents and the representative of the Lord Mayor in the province where they have plenty Heaven Council, then the Section 10 requires that one of them will represent them in the Provincial Assembly. Unfortunately, Honourable Speaker, what happened is that the Morobe provincial government challenged it, challenged the amendment to that section which took away the council presidents who were supposed to be there by virtue of that section, formally. And, Mr. Speaker, they plus other matters there. And the Supreme Court fully agreed, five-man bench fully agreed, that under Section 187 of the Papua New Guinea Constitution, the Provincial Assembly must be constituted of mainly elected leaders, not appointed leaders, elected leaders, under Section 187. And therefore, to have more appointed members in the Provincial Assembly was contrary. When the Organic Law removed the Council President from the Assembly, that left behind more appointed members plus the elected members of the open elected in the respective provinces. So the Supreme Court struck down that amendment, and Supreme Court ruled that that amendment was unconstitutional. Now, Mr. Speaker, that does not automatically mean, or at that time didn't mean, that the council president or the whole of the council president and the representative of the LLG should come automatically to the provincial assembly. The Supreme Court made its decision by ruling that the constitutional duty to rule illegal or legal, and they did rule that it's illegal, and when it ruled, that doesn't, as I said, they didn't mean that all of the LLG president automatically come to the assembly. That required the parliament, Honourable Speaker, required the parliament to amend the organic law to have them brought to the provincial assembly, which the parliament, from the time the Supreme Court entered on its decision, has not made any amendment until now. So my argument is that the government should be urged, the present government should be urged, and I'm urging them now as I speak to them, to make sure that we make an amendment so that we bring the council president to the provincial assembly under Section 10, which is amended, but surely amendment will be amendment to Section 10 again, Mr. Speaker. So that's done. And another matter, Mr. Speaker, I raised is in relation to the section, which I'm not able to quote to you right now, but it's there. It's the section which talks about the District Planning and Budget Priority Committee, which should constitute of governor being the deputy chairman, and the chairman should be the district member, and the LLG president and other appointed members should be there. That section, in my view, has not been amended. It's just still there. And in the face of it, you have a DDA, District Development Authority Act, which brings in the member, open member, and the council president and other appointed members. And then when you look at the functions of the DDA, it's almost the transplant of that section which establishes the District Planning and Budget Priority Committee. So there is a duplication, clear duplication there. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm arguing to this Parliament that there is clearly DDA which is fighting against that section, organic law section, which established the DDA, District Planning Budget Priority Committee. There is a fight there, and that act is an act of Parliament, is insubordinate to the organic law, and therefore is unconstitutional. And therefore, I recommend that Mr. Speaker, you should refer the matter to the Supreme Court for its opinion. And secondly, the City Development Authority is also unconstitutional in my view, Mr. Speaker, because it violates Local Level Government Act. And Local Level Government Act is the one, and the only one that's the power to establish authority. Only one is power to establish authority. And to establish authority by other means is also unconstitutional. I say that because local level government is a three-tier government. It's one of the three tiers government of this country, Mr. Speaker. So I need your, Mr. Speaker, for your assistance. I'll draft a question and bring them back to you to assist you to decide whether you should refer the matter to this constitutional court to determine, Mr. Speaker. And finally, when I have the 2 minutes, I want to support the Governor Ipata's point that law and order is breaking down in this country. And surely, Governor is right. We're in the province that we're managing. We're a government at the first instance where the people are, and we can see and vividly see there is a clear ineffectiveness of the police that they're there. Ineffectiveness because, Mr. Speaker, the government has not exercised its power, exercised its constitutional obligation under Section 225 of the Papua New Guinea Constitution. Section 225 of the Papua New Guinea Constitution, Mr. Speaker, says the government has an obligation to provide facilities to the constitutional office, one of which is police. And they have not. Budget is all talking about district DDA and all of whatever provincial support grant or all of those things. We are not talking about providing sufficient money to the constitutional office, example like police, sufficient enough to carry out his constitutional obligations. Make sure there is law and order in this country. We're not doing it. And then finally, policemen who love one penis. Plenty policemen who love one penis. Why you keeping plenty love one police staff? This is law and order. Travel and young man side make him. You know, old man make him. Young man make him. Now you need more recruitment. Young man by coming inside to fight against the young man. Young man versus young man. That's why you need train him all policemen and more skilled, disciplined young man to fight against. And when resources when we provide, they can do the job. So Mr. Minister, me no crossing you, me country ya. Me country ya. Or send me talk savvy you. You know where we love one love symbol now. Put the nuclear money go inside. Money go inside. Fight one time government. Put the money go inside. Me not sue him you yet, Lani, the section 225 yet. Me not put him you go to court yet. Because I'm right below me. So me go to marry because me member of parliament. So what's me outside me got him here.
Honorable Governor Morobe.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Governor Morobe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
10-minute play
Thank
finish
you,
now.
thank you.
Me look Sabelo, Honorable Member of Yelebu Pangia.